On the rundown for today's San Francisco 49ers report, are the Ravens interested in a Deebo Samuel trade? According to a report, they checked in on the Niners wide receiver. We're also going to take a look at an updated Niners free agency tracker and some players San Francisco could retain who played for this football club last year. But first, make sure you subscribe. Join us on the show a little bit later because we'll be live for our fourth consecutive day of NFL free agency. Show's going to kick off about 3:30 p.m. Eastern, maybe 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock for those of you out on the West Coast. So hit that bell icon there for anytime we push out a show like this, you'll be notified. Anytime we go live, you'll get that notification. We're built different. Be built different with us, and let's talk some Niners right now. And today's show is sponsored by 8 Sleep. Get $200 off the pod cover and free shipping by going to 8sleep.com/chatsports. We've been grinding. We've been hustling throughout NFL free agency for yours truly. It's been a busy year. When I need some sleep, I get a quality sleep with 8 Sleep. We'll put that link down below in the comments section as well as in the description of this video. So a lot of chatter in 49er land about this Deebo Samuel trade to the Baltimore Ravens. And now there's some conflicting reports because Ravens general manager Eric DeCosta is saying, we never really called about a Deebo Samuel trade. It all got started with the radio station in Baltimore with this report right here, with the Ravens creating cap room. Some of it could be earmarked for a wide receiver. We heard they reached out to San Francisco about Deebo Samuel's availability. That's a no, at least as of right now. And they're also watching Chargers wide receiver Mike Williams. I thought last year, Baltimore did a really good job in finally surrounding Lamar Jackson with the semblance of weapons that made sense for their new system with the new offensive coordinator in Todd Monken, and giving Lamar Jackson just a different variety of weapons around him. And in turn, he won MVP, had a really efficient year. Baltimore was really a quality football team. You add Deebo Samuel to the mix, and he makes that team really interesting. They're already really physical. And then they're more physical now that they brought in Derrick Henry. So you have the Thunder with Henry, and then you have the Lightning with Lamar Jackson. You have some deep threats. You have some other solid options. You have a really good tight end. You add Deebo to the mix, who's the Yak King, who can run a variety of routes, pick up tough physical yards after the catch, and it makes that Ravens offense very, very multiple. Now, as of right now, no worries. The San Francisco 49ers have no interest in trading Deebo Samuel. But could that change? Stay tuned for the reasoning as to why. But then there's this from Ravens general manager Eric DeCosta, who just said this moments ago. That specific report, I read the Lorax last week at a local elementary school. I would probably put that report similar to that. There was never any, no, because there was never any request. So Eric DeCosta saying publicly, no, we didn't call about a Deebo Samuel trade. But at the same time, you want to go conspiracy theorist here. Why would a general manager ever reveal who they're checking in on? It's all about leverage in this game. Throughout this offseason, there have been teams linked to Deebo Samuel. This list also goes back to last year when teams reportedly were calling the Niners about Deebo Samuel. And given Deebo's special ability as a football player, I'm telling you right now, this list of 4 teams, probably a little bit larger because Deebo, a home run hitter, a 2021 All-Pro, a game changer. But New York Jets, Baltimore Ravens, Pittsburgh Steelers, Chicago Bears, all within the last calendar year or so, and going back to last offseason, have shown a need for a wide receiver. Now, why would the Niners ever entertain a Deebo Samuel trade? If the Niners traded him post-June 1, which means after June 1st, San Francisco would save $22 million this upcoming season. The dead money post-June 1, meaning the dead money that the Niners would have to absorb, would only be $6 million. And the Niners are running into a little bit of a quandary here. They might not be able to, or might not want to pay two wide receivers a combined $50 million. And Brandon Aiyuk's price tag is increasing. And it's increasing with his increasing production, but also the crazy contract that Calvin Ridley got from the Tennessee Titans. Rand Carthon, former member of this Niners front office, given him an absolute bag. Ridley's new deal, 4 years, $92 million, total guaranteed money, $50 million. That comes out to an average per year of $23 million. You think about Aiyuk compared to Ridley. We'll show you the numbers here in a second. Aiyuk is the younger wide receiver. He is the better wide receiver. He is the more accomplished wide receiver. So him and his camp are looking at Ridley getting $23 million a year. He's looking at Deebo Samuel getting $24 million average annual value. And you know what Aiyuk and his camp are saying? Well, hold on. I'm a better wide receiver than Calvin Ridley, and I'm a more productive and more available wide receiver than Deebo Samuel. $24 million might be the start of the asking price for Aiyuk. Because look at what Ridley has done in his last 4. He's also about to be 30, even though he hasn't been in the league all that long. He was late to graduate from Alabama. 2023, more than 1,000 yards. That's great, 8 touchdowns. Didn't play in 2022 because of the gambling suspension, limited production in 2021 because he took time away from the game. And then in 2020, once again, very productive, 90 catches, 1,300 plus yards. A lot more on this to come, as well as an updated look at the Niners free agency tracker. First, today's show is sponsored by 8Sleep. Get $200 off the pod cover at 8sleep.com/chatsports. It is sleep to power a whole new you. Today's show brought to you by 8Sleep, the high-tech solution to your age-old sleeping issues. The 8Sleep Pod 3 cover slips right over your mattress, bringing heating and cooling technology that keeps you comfortable and sleeping deeper for a better, more restful night. The technology on this thing is incredible, as you can see with the videos that we're showing you. But what's also insane, in addition to keeping you at the perfect temperature, as low as 55 degrees and up to 110 degrees, the pod also tracks your sleep and health metrics. On average, pod users see their sleep quality improve by 32% after just 1 month sleeping on the pod. There is no better way to improve your day-to-day life better than sleep, and the easiest way to do that is with 8Sleep's Pod 3. Start the new year right, invest in the rest that you deserve with the 8Sleep Pod. Control everything from your phone. As you can see, the device goes right next to your bed. You and your partner can get comfortable. You like the cold temps? That's fine. You like to sleep a little bit warmer? That's good too. Sleeping cooler, a little bit better for your health, according to studies. But go to 8sleep.com/chatsports. $200 off, plus free shipping on the pod cover by 8Sleep. Invest in the rest that you work hard for with the 8Sleep Pod. So we looked at Ridley's numbers in his last 4. He had the year in which he stepped away. He had the gambling suspension. And now he's about to be 30 years old. Brandon Aiyuk, much more productive, available, and overall better wide receiver. And Aiyuk right now is about to turn 26 on March 17th. This past year, career year for him. Top 10 in receiving yards, number 2 in yards per catch. Led the Niners in all these categories of yards. Yards per catch, fantastic at 17.9. Year before that, 2022, he was also great. That's really when he started to emerge. And for the first time in his career, he eclipsed 1,000 yards. And in his first 2 years, still a very, very productive player here. So the wide receiver market has really exploded in recent years. You had the Christian Kirk deal with the Jags a few years ago, and now you have the Calvin Ridley deal. And now Aiyuk is looking at that saying, I deserve the bag. I've earned the bag. I better get the bag. And by the way, a little bit later here on the 49ers report, we're going to talk about this report from a Jaguars insider that Aiyuk and his camp interested in the Jags because he's following Jags players on Instagram, and the Jags interested in Aiyuk. First, let's hit you with this question, though. If you had to keep one wideout on this Niners team, is it Deebo? Whoa! Or is it let's go Brandon Aiyuk? Type BA in the chat right now. Coming up next here, players gained in free agency for the Niners, players lost, and a look at the remaining Niners unrestricted free agents, some players who could return to San Francisco. Players gained, edge rusher Leonard Floyd, one of 3 players in the NFL to have at least 9 sacks in 4 consecutive seasons. Can bend the edge, can set the edge against the run. I love his activity levels in chasing down quarterbacks, ball carriers, and wide receivers. It's going to be a really good addition to this team. And to get him at $10 million per, $12 million guaranteed, it's a damn good deal. Defensive tackle Jordan Elliot, as the Niners here, big theme this offseason so far. They have completely changed the makeover of their defensive line, especially on the interior. They signed Jordan Elliot, number 6 run stop win rate per ESPN last year. They traded for Maliek Collins, 85 quarterback pressures the last 2 years. Then they bring in edge rusher Yetur Gross-Matos, who can play kind of that Arden Key, Charles Omenihu role, defensive end, as well as defensive tackle. Players signed and extended. Offensive guard Ben Bartch, quarterback Brandon Allen, defensive tackle Kevin Givens, that happened last night. Offensive tackle Colton McKivitz, hopefully he's not an offensive tackle, or at least a starter for this team. George Odum, and then wide receiver Jauan Jennings. He's been tendered. Another team can sign him, but they have to give him a new deal and then squander their second-round pick. Players lost. Eric Armstead, we'll see where he goes, but he did get released. Javon Kinlaw, $7 million, basically in guaranteed money with the New York Jets. Good deal for him, only a 1-year deal. Edge rusher Cleveland Ferrell. Adam Peters has been very active in running his first offseason as the Commanders' general manager, and then Sam Darnold to the Minnesota Vikings. Furthermore, tight end Charlie Warner signing with the Falcons, been a good blocker at the tight end spot for the Niners. Offensive lineman Matt Pryor can play tackle. He signs with the Bears, and then cornerback Isaiah Oliver signed early in the process with the New York Jets. Here are the remaining unrestricted free agents for San Francisco. These players could potentially return. I think some more likely than not. I think Chase Young is gone because of Gross-Matos and Leonard Floyd being added to this team, as well as the defensive tackles signed already. He's got a couple of visits set up. Carolina Panthers, New Orleans Saints. The team's kind of checking in on Chase Young. John Feliciano, I think, is an option. Can play center, can play guard, and was a highly graded player, according to Pro Football Focus last year. Stepped in for Aaron Banks, stepped in for Spencer Burford. He was good, and he'll most likely be affordable in what has been an exploding market for guards across the NFL. Ray McCloud, I think, is gone just because the Niners might want to draft a rookie who can return kicks and punts and won't be as expensive as Ray McCloud. Deshaun Gibson, another safety, I think, is certainly an option. Corner, safety, linebacker. Those are the 3 areas I think the Niners hit next in no particular order in free agency. Linebacker Oren Burks, Demetrius Flanagan fouls. The Niners lost Eric Kendrick, so do those linebackers become a realistic possibility here? I think so, because you need to bring in another 1 or 2. Wide receiver Chris Conley, tight end Ross Dwelley. And then you look at these players here too. Logan Ryan, Sebastian Joseph Day, Randy Gregory. I think those players most likely going to leave San Francisco, just not making a lot of sense here. You fulfill defensive end, defensive tackle, you're good. And then Logan Ryan, he's just too old at this point. This little nugget from Mike Silver is interesting. Strongest candidates to be re-signed, Feliciano and the 2 linebackers. When he's talking about the 2 linebackers, that's Oren Burks, Demetrius Flanagan fouls. I know Oren Burks had to step in for Dre Greenlaw, gave up 9 catches on 9 targets. Not ideal, but a solid special teamer at that. So comment below, which player or players do you want to see return to the Niners here in free agency? Day 4 officially underway. Let me know down in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll catch you live on the San Francisco 49ers Report here in just a little while.